Welcome to the 2017-2018 NBA preview. My name is Josh, your Enviers, and today we are covering the 9th ranked team in the preview, the Minnesota Timberwolves, who I see being a 5th seed or higher in the tough Western Conference. Like usual, huge inspiration to Grantland. They're the reason for making me make this series. And also, like usual, this series isn't based off of who's going to win a championship. This is simply based off of win-loss record. And last year, the Minnesota Timberwolves win-loss record looked like 31 wins. This season, with the additions they added, I can easily see this team reaching 45 to 48 wins next season. That's a pretty huge jump from a team that hasn't made playoffs and will most likely make playoffs finally this season. Karl-Anthony Towns last season was Mr. Double-Double. Andrew Wiggins showed promise. Zach LaVine too. Zach LaVine is no longer on this team. He was traded away to the Chicago Bulls, which we'll talk about later. But Zach LaVine was showing promise until the unfaithful ACL tear. Other players that weren't showing promise just because of the stacked rotation with guards such as Ricky Rubio, LaVine, Tyus Jones was Chris Dunn. Chris Dunn was one of their top draft picks last season, and he just wasn't performing well. But no worries, he is no longer on this team either. He's with Zach LaVine over there with the Bulls, because now this team is essentially the Chicago Bulls, but in Minnesota. The Minnesota Timberwolves, as the internet seems to be calling them, with Jimmy Butler, Tom Thibodeau, and Taj Gibson. And unfortunately, apparently they didn't want Derrick Rose to be that backup point guard. So, hey, what can you do? So with that said, kind of talked about it a little bit. Let's talk about it more with these offseason moves that the Minnesota Timberwolves did to improve and become one of the top 5 teams in the Western Conference. The biggest thing that happened with this Minnesota Timberwolves team is they got Jimmy Butler. He makes his team more complete, but at the same time, I still feel like they could upgrade at that power forward spot and possibly even that point guard spot if Jeff Teague doesn't work out. There's tiers. There's tiers to this point guard stuff. And Jeff Teague isn't a tier 1 point guard. I'm trying to think off top who would be that tier 3 or tier 2. I think Jeff Teague is the lower echelon of tier 2. Right underneath George Hill. And above Ricky Rubio. I don't mind Ricky Rubio as a point guard. Actually, that's a lie. I do mind Ricky Rubio as a point guard. But I feel like Ricky Rubio would have complemented this team a whole lot more with his passing ability now that they had Jimmy Butler. Now, the unfortunate thing is, Ricky Rubio can't shoot. So it makes Jeff Teague a more likable point guard for the Minnesota Timberwolves to grab and trade Ricky Rubio for. The whole Ricky Rubio and Jeff Teague situation is like trading an apple for an orange. It's just preference. It's really preference. Not a huge fan of either of these 2 point guards, but I feel like Jeff Teague will work out long term compared to Ricky Rubio just for the simple fact that he's a better shooter than Ricky Rubio. But it's not hard to be a better shooter than Ricky Rubio. Tangent aside, they also got Jamal Crawford and Taj Gibson. Huge upgrade for this Minnesota Timberwolves team who lost Zach LaVine, Rubio, Dunn, Caspi, Jordan Hill, and Nikola Pekovic finally retired because those ankles, man. His ankles got knocked loose. I guess his ankles just couldn't hold up after Kevin Love left, and it's unfortunate to see. Along with drafting Justin Patton with the 16th pick as a backup big. Moving on, let's talk about the projected rotation. Here's some of the key guys. Karl-Anthony Towns, Deng, Butler, Wiggins, and Jeff Teague. That's a solid starting 5 in the Western Conference. I see this team doing big things, making playoffs this season, like I said in the beginning. But you can't do it all alone with the starting 5. You got to have a good bench, and this season, the bench improved. They got Cole Aldrich still, Taj Gibson, that guy, you know the guy I'm talking about, Jamal Crawford, and Tyus Jones. Lacking a little bit in that small forward depth position right there, but I'm sure Thibodeau will run Jimmy Butler and Andrew Wiggins minutes all the way up and run them to the ground. It'll only be a problem if one of these 2 guys gets hurt, so hopefully that doesn't happen. This is an extremely solid rotation. I absolutely love it. In a tough Western Conference, I feel like this team can get it done. They're young. They have a perfect mixture of guys like Jimmy Butler, and although I don't really like him that much, Jeff Teague. Jeff Teague's still a solid point guard. I like the starting 5. So my question for the Minnesota Timberwolves is, now that they have Jimmy Butler, who's going to be that next guy up and be the next lockdown defender next to him? Because if Andrew Wiggins could learn to play defense, him and Jimmy Butler, that combo would be absolutely amazing. Karl-Anthony Towns too. If he could learn to play defense, that'd be absolutely amazing. This team would be higher than I have them now. And hopefully this season they're able to, get that Jimmy Butler mentality and be able to lock down their opponents. I really feel like Andrew Wiggins and Jimmy Butler is a perfect combo. And looking at Karl Anthony Towns, that's a future big three, if not a big three already. So hopefully some of Jimmy Butler's work ethic translates over to Andrew Wiggins. They're both similar players. Andrew Wiggins in college, he sometimes disappeared. And I feel like a few years ago with the Wolves, he sometimes disappeared as well. The Wolves apparently are going to offer him a max contract, so he needs to start playing like a max contract player and be there for his team. I'm pretty sure with the addition of Jimmy Butler, we definitely could take the next step, and I'm eager to see just how far he goes. Let me know in the comment section below. How do you feel about this Minnesota Timberwolves team? Do you feel like Wiggins and Butler can coexist? I really hope they can. I really like that duo. And having Cat down low, that seems like a recipe for success, to be totally honest. So with that said, if you guys enjoyed this video, be sure to leave a like on it. We're getting up there with these series. NBA 2K18 is almost out. The excitement is rolling in. I know you guys are going to hate me for my top 5, and when we keep climbing, you guys are going to absolutely hate me too. But if you could leave a like on this video, it'd be greatly appreciated. People don't seem to understand that I say this series isn't based off of who's going to win a championship. This is simply based off of win-loss record, and people, if your opinion doesn't match others, people just get angry and upset and throw a tantrum and suck their thumb. So if you aren't one of those people, leave a like on it. Greatly appreciate it. Before you go, check out some of these other videos on screen right now featuring the NBA previews past episodes. The link is in the description for the NBA preview playlist in case you want to watch the rest of the series, along with my Twitter. Follow me on Twitter @Enviers if you want to chat it up about the preview or anything basketball related. I'll talk to you guys in the next one.